There was absolutely no need for the GST hikes to have been imposed in the midst of a huge storm. For 2024, we had a budget surplus of 6.4 billion, when GST raised about 3.5 billion. That's a lot of money to finance free healthcare, free education, free school meals, as PAR has suggested. It is of grave concern to PAR that we must reduce the cost of living. First of all, we are going to stop this surge in resale prices by stopping permanent residents from buying HDB, because they are the cause of the surge in price, which then pulls along the BTO price.
We have proposed introducing a modest EP levy of 1,200 per month on EP holders to further level the playing field between Singaporean and foreign PMATs. Under PSP's Affordable Home Scheme, HDB will no longer need to pay land costs used for BTOs into the past reserves. And we will also eliminate a large part of HDB's deficit arising from having to provide subsidies to buyers, which is now paid for using our budget. We have also proposed to amortize the revenue from government land sales for commercial and industrial land so that it can be used as revenue in the budget over the duration of the lease, instead of putting it straight all into the reserves. We would like to reassure Singaporeans that the AHS will not cause a crash in the resale market. Under our scheme, HDB will sell new flats to Singaporeans at a price equal to the construction cost of the flat, but plus a premium determined by the location of the flats, so that flats in different areas will not be priced the same.
It's important to ask who these taxes are aimed at. There is a perception that it is aimed more at the ordinary Singaporeans than at the wealthy, the billionaire class, the big companies. In the next 10 years, 1.2 billion workers are coming in, and there are only 400 million jobs that are available. So the citizens' dividend actually will be financed through the surpluses for 2 straight years in a row. There will be a lot of pressure on the work, on the job, on the steady incomes that Singaporeans will earn, and citizens' dividend will give them the peace of mind that they are in safe hands.
I think we've been clear that the decision in 2022 to increase the GST coming out of a record high 6% inflation was the wrong tool used at the wrong time. And that decision placed a tremendous burden on the average Singapore family that they're still trying to dig themselves out of. We've suggested, for example, changing the NIRC formula from 50% to 60% to allow a little bit of buffer there. We've talked about implementing a minimum corporate tax rate that's in line with most of the other nations around the world to allow us to be able to have, once again, a little bit of buffer over there. One that I want to call out is how we've proposed for kind of tiered utility pricing to ensure that Singaporeans who use less, who are from smaller households perhaps, will pay a lower rate than those that use more. There's a benefit to incentivizing the right kind of socially conscious behavior, but it's also going to help relieve the pressure upon them.
I would like to maybe raise a question to ask Ms. Tan, how would you know that it wouldn't crash the market? There is a risk that such a move could have a negative impact on the housing market, affecting existing homeowners. The PAP believes that the best way to cope with rising prices is to ensure we can grow our economy. Why? Because then we can enable our businesses to do well, and we can enable our people to earn higher wages. Higher wages that exceed the rate of inflation, so what we call real wage growth. So if you look at our track record, from 2019 to 2024, during this 5-year period, the 20th percentile, considered lower wage worker, has a 5.9% real wage growth. That means after accounting for inflation. And at the median is 3.6% real wage growth. So these are real outcomes that we have achieved through the PAP's policies. The PAP's view is that the current generation's needs should be covered by this generation's resources. We must not borrow or gamble on the savings and reserves of future generations. And this is why we decided to raise the GST. It was a difficult decision, as I explained recently, because no government or political party likes to raise taxes. But we had to do so because we needed the additional revenue to support the healthcare needs of our seniors in an aging population.